Well, the Arsenal manager, Arsene Wenger, was quite critical last week of the home support, particularly in the game here against Everton. But I tell you, it's going to be quite noisy here tonight because this is the fixture which means most to the locals around here. Arsenal and Spurs take the field. Arsenal led by William Gallas. I noticed that Arsenal tonight have an all-French back four, and Tottenham are brought out by Jermaine Genius, who's done quite well in this fixture in recent times. Looking to see whether we can see Harry Redknapp coming out of the tunnel below us. But I'd just like to endorse, I think, and amplify what you, Mark Saggis, said at the start of the programme, and Lee come in as well on this. I haven't done my homework, and I'm not sure if this is going to happen again until the last day of the season, but it's great to have all these Premier League games, isn't it, being played simultaneously. It
is, yeah, and a nice midweek fixture with everybody playing. Obviously somebody played, Newcastle played last night, but and a match of the day midweek is always interesting. There's some good games tonight as well, Mike, and no better one than this one in North London.
We'll have words on this one before kick-off, but let's go to Fulham. Fulham-Wigan, Nigel Adderley.
And Fulham have taken the lead. A first Fulham goal for Andy Johnson following his £10 million move from Everton. Paul Konchesky overlapping well down the left-hand side, crossing in low to the near post, flicked in by Johnson. He was possibly offside, but the goal was given, and Wigan trail by a goal to nil.
Andy Johnson will be returning to Everton Saturday lunchtime, a game you'll hear on 5 Live. There's also been a goal, I think, in the Kilmarnock-Celtic game. Brian McLaughlin.
Yes, Mike, and it's come for champions Celtic. Sean Maloney, corner swung in from the left-hand side. Scott McDonald peeled off his marker and glanced a header into the back of the net. 10 minutes gone, Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 1.
Thank you very much indeed, Brian. Let me give you the lineups here then at a frosty Emirates Stadium. Arsenal making 3 changes from the weekend. Sanya is fit again, will play at right back. Danielson's recovered from an injury, takes over from Song. And Adebayor, who I suppose was rested at the weekend, he returns for Bender. They were never going to leave Adebayor out of this fixture. He's done particularly well against Spurs in the last couple of seasons. So the Arsenal lineup is Almunia, Sanya, Gallas, Silvestre. There's no Kolo Touré, he's on the bench, and Clichy. And cross midfield, Walcott, Fabregas, Danielson and Nasri. And then Adebayor and Van Persie. The Tottenham lineup, and there are 2 changes. There's no Ledley King, but Jonathan Woodgate is back. Remember, Dawson is suspended, and Bale, after his suspension, takes over from O'Hara. And we imagine Bale will play on the left-hand side of midfield because Asu Ekoto retains his place. In this Tottenham lineup, Gomez, Hutton, Chorluka, Woodgate, Asu Ekoto, Huddleston probably playing just in front of the back four, and Bentley, the former Arsenal player, Genius, Bale, Modric and Pavlyuchenko. Referee is Martin Atkinson, and William Gallas steps forward to Jermaine Genius. So you've already outlined the Modric area, which could be a problem for Arsenal, Lee, tonight. Where could be the problems for Spurs?
Well, I think, as you mentioned, with Bale playing on the left side, his role's important. We know what Walcott's pace is like, and he loves to get at his full-back. He's got that confidence now that perhaps he didn't have a year ago. He's been playing well for club and country, and to get at the full-back, Asu Ekoto, Bale's going to need to protect him in front of that full-back, and I think that's a key area tonight.
Well, Arsene Wenger has an incredible record against Tottenham. He's only lost 2 of 29, and he doesn't count the last one because he said it was only the Carling Cup when they lost 5-1 in the semi-final last year, which was probably Juande Ramos' best night, really, apart from the final. But the last time that Spurs managed to overcome Arsenal was in the last century, when Lee Dixon was playing for Arsenal. Right, that was a night. Do you remember that one when you had 2 players sent off?
I do, yes.
They lost 2-1.
Yeah, I was in the middle of trying to separate all those players from fighting and doing all those silly things, and I think we had a couple sent off. But yeah, it's a big night for both teams for different reasons. You know, can the Tottenham team go on from the weekend and maybe secure a point tonight, which will be a great result for Harry Redknapp, and can this Arsenal side carry on in the form that we've seen in the last few weeks, which is exhilarating, they're attacking, but just watch them defensively well, because there's been a couple of weaknesses there of late.
Away we go. Really big night in the Premier League then, with Chelsea already a goal up, Fulham a goal up, Arsenal playing from left to right. Ironically, the last Spurs manager to beat Arsenal in the Premier League was, of all people, George Graham. Throw to Arsenal near side. We're just getting a close-up of Harry Redknapp sitting down there with Kevin Bond, reunited. Woodgate just volleys the ball straight back out of play for an Arsenal throw. Woodgate and Chorluka then together at the heart of the Spurs defence. Another throw to Arsenal near side. Sagna taking his time. Van Persie makes the run. Sagna with a looping throw, looks for Van Persie. Up goes Woodgate. That's been headed away, and it's going to be a Tottenham throw-in right by the corner flag. So just to confirm that Gareth Bale is playing ahead of Asua Koto, the Cameroon player on this near side. Throw into Spurs. It's still inside the Spurs half. They've yet to cross the halfway line, Spurs. Bentley going in for his first touch, and then eventually Huddleston thumps it downfield, and that, well, almost a handball. Surely a handball by Gallas. It seems to glove it.
Almost. It was nearly two hands, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. The referee was just caught blindsided, and he couldn't really see. Maybe looking for his linesman to give him a help out, but the flag stayed down.
Well, he gloved it because he's got the mittens on tonight, as has Sagna.
That should be a club fine, by the way, wearing gloves in a game. I'm sorry, old-fashioned me.
I don't think Pat Rice would have worn those. Anyway, here come Spurs now, across the halfway line. Good running from Asua Koto. Just holds the play up and then wastes the ball, gives it away to Arsenal. Walcott tried his first run and he's been blocked by Genus. And Arsenal have a free kick, and it's a sort of stuttering start. It'll just take a while maybe to sort itself out.
Genus has got a big role to play with Huddleston in this middle of the park, because we know what Danielson and Fabregas are like. As I said before, they're very attack-minded, and also Van Persie likes to drop where he is now, in that little hole in between the the central midfield and the centre-backs.
Long ball forward from Arsenal, and I was just about to congratulate Arsene Wenger on being a real he-man. He's not wearing any protection tonight on this cold night. He's just got his suit on, but now somebody's brought him some warm clothing as Spurs try to get free down that far side of the field. It's a foul, and Arsenal take the free kick quickly. So the North London derby just underway here at the Emirates Stadium. Chelsea already in front against Hull through Lampard, and Fulham through Johnson lead Wigan by 1-0. Fabregas tries to flick the ball onto Van Persie. Spurs win it in midfield. Huddleston looking for his best option inside the centre circle. Knocks it forward. Looks from the run from Gareth Bale. Bale in the area. Good running from Bale. Hits the side netting. There was nobody ready to give it to at the far post. And Bale in the end doesn't test Almunia and smacks the ball into the side netting.
The trouble with Bale there was he was too quick for all his teammates. He made a great run down the left, outpaced Sagna at the fullback position, and a good ball from Huddleston inside the fullback. And when he got to the byline to pull it back, there was literally no Tottenham players in the box, so he had to try a sort of a cross shot, and it went behind for a goal kick. But good run from Bale.
Out comes Harry Redknapp for the first time with a few words. Here in the North London derby, you're listening to 5 Live. It's Fabregas of Arsenal looking for Nasri. Cross comes the defensive cover, Chorluka, and he lets the ball go behind for a goal kick. Chorluka and Modric both played here in what was the first European game in the Emirates for Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League when Eduardo scored for Zagreb. He now obviously of Arsenal. And Tottenham will play Dinamo Zagreb next week in their UEFA Cup tie at White Hart Lane. A good noise around the Emirates Stadium. The Spurs fans joining in as well. They're behind the goal occupied by Gomez as Arsenal fail to cut the ball out, and Modric is running, being forced to run square by Gallas on the edge of the penalty area, and Gallas manages to dispossess Modric, but Modric was dangerous for a few moments, and now Walcott gets away from Genus, but Walcott will not get past Woodgate. He showed just too much of the ball to the centre-back, but it was a thrilling run from Woodgate until it was ended by Walcott, until it was ended by Woodgate, and Arsenal have a throw-in.
Two good pieces of central defensive play there. Firstly from Gallas, putting the cover on, sniffing out the danger and blocking Modric, and then at the other end Walcott on a run down the wing and beat two players. And when you beat the fullback, what you want as a fullback when you're beaten like that is your centre half coming over and sweeping up for you, and it's exactly what Woodgate did.
Lee Dixon with us, veteran of these occasions obviously with Arsenal. 0-0 at the Emirates. Gallas, the Arsenal captain, plays the ball in towards Van Persie, who turns short of the halfway line. Van Persie now with space into Adebayor. Adebayor's given it away, and it's Modric once more trying to go round Van Persie and brought down by Van Persie. Free kick is given to Spurs inside the centre circle. Let's just check again on Hull Chelsea. Early activity there from John Murray.
20 minutes played, still Hull City 0, Chelsea 1. That brilliant finish from Frank Lampard after 2.5 minutes of the match. Chelsea, unlike Sunday, have got lots of room on the flanks as they come forward, but I should say as well that that Hull City have made it uncomfortable when they've had set pieces for Chelsea's first choice defence. However, Hull City 0, Chelsea 1 the score.
Thank you, John. Remember, Fulham are leading 1-0 against Wigan through Andy Johnson. Throw to Arsenal, far side. This is their left in the first half. Clichy's throw to Adebayor. Better touch this time by Adebayor, but Clichy's given it away. And Tottenham play it forward. The trouble here, though, is Pavlyuchenko's all on his own. They need to support him. Bentley now, who will get a bit of abuse, I'm sure, from some of the home fans here. Bentley has to give it back to Huddleston. Spurs playing it neatly through midfield. Huddleston with his left foot shoveled it forward, and it's headed away by Silvestre. Arsenal fans getting a view of Silvestre here in the Emirates Stadium, playing it centre-back. A smart signing by Arsene Wenger. Tottenham now, with the ball back inside their own half. It's hit long by Woodgate to the far side, looking for the Scottish international Hutton. Infield from him to Bentley. Bentley will do well to keep this in. He manages to turn and find Huddleston. This is decent play from Spurs. Now they bring it to this near side of the field. Tottenham building down the left. It's played forward with pace towards Pavlyuchenko. It's played forward with too much pace. Arsenal have it back again, and here's Conor McNamara at Old Trafford.
Manchester United 0, West Ham 0. Nani on the attack at the moment, puts in a left-footed volley that just goes a whisker past the post. It is wide. That's the second good chance United have created. Dimitar Berbatov missed a sitter a few minutes ago. Again, Nani involved in the build-up. When it came to Berbatov, he was edge of the 6-yard box. He put it over the crossbar. Manchester United 0, West Ham 0.
Thank you, and just in case you didn't hear at the start of the programme, no Van der Sar in the United goal tonight, and Rooney left out as well in that match against West Ham. Ball out of play, far side, and Arsenal have a throw. And Arsenal, Spurs have started quite well here. Hutton, yes, Lee.
They have started well, and they've been patient. I think Harry will say that you've got to be patient against this Arsenal side. The thing is, when they get the ball up to Pavlyuchenko, if they support him too quickly with too many bodies and they lose it, they get hit on the break, and that's where Arsenal are at their strength.
Oh, good ball by Huddleston to Modric, and Modric tries a snapshot, but in the end that's still in play. Hasn't even gone out for a goal kick to Arsenal. Back again to John Merritt Hull.
Quarter of the way through the match, still 1-0 to Chelsea, but Hull have just hit a post. Terrific piece of play from Kusan, went past his man, low shot, came back off the foot of the right post as he looked. So, close thing for Hull, but Chelsea still lead 1-0.
Thank you. Nasri for Arsenal. Works it back into midfield and to Nielsen. Nielsen thought about giving it to Fabregas. Instead, it's gone to the left-hand side. And Clichy. Back again to Nielsen. Ball played into Nasri, who's come into the centre now. Van Persie picks up the ball in the deep. Van Persie square to this near side, and Sanya Walcott waiting patiently. Walcott has it, only Adebayor in the penalty area. It's played back now to Nasri. Nasri's cross in, headed away by Huddleston, using his height to good advantage. And now Bentley, as you'll gather from some of the noise behind me, has the ball for Spurs over on the far side. Just the one Premier League appearance by Bentley for Arsenal, and that was away to Portsmouth. Never played a home game, never started a home game in the Premier League. And now Tottenham have played it out. Genus can't find Bentley over on the far side, and Arsenal have a throw. Let's get early news now from Mike Sewell at Stoke.
Midway through the first half here, it's still Stoke 0, Sunderland 0, but Stoke have had two decent chances, the best of which fell to Ricardo Fuller. One of Rory Delat's trademark long throws was flicked on by Mamadi Sidibe, and Fuller from only 6 yards out prodded towards goal, and Anton Ferdinand didn't know a great deal about the ball that struck his thigh and went away from danger. Still Stoke 0, Sunderland 0.
So it's Hull 0, Chelsea 1, Fulham 1, Wigan 0, and Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 1 in Scotland. Spurs, in the end, have to give up on that one. Bentley can't get there in time, and it's going to be a goal kick for Arsenal. Almunia to take. Harry Redknapp looking thoughtful on the bench alongside Clive Allen and also Kevin Bond. There's talk of others, maybe former Spurs players, joining the backroom staff. Tim Sherwood's been mentioned. He was the player who scored what turned out to be the winning goal the last time Spurs beat Arsenal in the league, but that was way back in 1999.
He'll be pleased, Harry, with the start. You know, they have been patient. They've had quite a good line. They're not dropped too deep, and they haven't been too far up the pitch, so they haven't left space behind them. So they've got a really good back four line, which is important when you're going away from home, is to establish where your back four is going to play a majority of the game, and Woodgate's got them organised in that department.
And Arsenal haven't got into any kind of flow yet, as they love to do here at the Emirates Stadium. Now they have a possibility, and it's Gallas taking the ball into the Tottenham half. Arsenal playing from left to right. Spurs in their normal white shirts and navy blue shorts. Arsenal red and white. They lose their way once more in midfield. And it's Bentley. Hits it high, dinks it forward, looks for Pavlyuchenko to give chase. but again it's travelled too far for him, and Almunia throws the ball out to Clichy. Arsenal building again from inside their own half. Denilson for the captain Gallas. Sagna available. Gallas just gets his head up and then plays it into the centre circle. Switched by Denilson towards Walcott. Walcott and Asuakoto, and it breaks for Adebayor. Adebayor trying his luck against Woodgate. Woodgate snakes in the leg, and Arsenal win the throw-in right by the corner flag near side the field. Arsenal 0, Spurs 0.
He's had a good start, Jonathan Woodgate. He's been really tight on Adebayor. Every time he's come short, he's gone in with him. Plenty of cover from his other centre-back.
Sagna to Adebayor, and Walcott hits that with his left foot, just wide. Arsenal's first real crack at Gomez's goal. Walcott didn't really perhaps get hold of it in the way that he would have wanted to, but there's the first scare, as Gomez was very close to getting his fingers to it as well and conceding a corner. It's a goal kick to Tottenham Hotspur.
Good chance that was. Asuakoto just caught ball watching in the box, and Walcott just wandered off him as the ball came back off Adebayor. He got a good left foot, not his strongest foot, but a good foot on the ball, and it wasn't far wide, was it?
Modric turning and winning a free kick. Denilson brings him down. Atkinson, the referee, gives Spurs the free kick on the edge of the centre circle. Little Luka Modric just knocks it sideways to the big burly Huddleston. And now Spurs building down the right. Bentley trying to get away from a couple of Arsenal players. Feeds Huddleston once more, who's just sitting really in front of the back four. Now Pavlyuchenko can't turn around the defender, but it's Spurs keeping the possession once more. Asuakoto steps inside of Walcott. Looks for some help here. Lays it forward with his left foot. It'll be headed away by William Gallas. 0-0 here between Arsenal and Spurs in the North London derby. Jermaine Genius now giving chase for Spurs. Still inside the Arsenal half. Genius linking with Bentley. Bentley from a long way out. Tries a shot. What a goal from Bentley. Bentley was almost back inside the centre circle, and he tried his luck from yards and yards and yards. Almunia was off his line and groping. And that is the most spectacular goal from Bentley against the club who sold him, Arsenal. It's Arsenal 0, Spurs 1.
Well, what a fantastic strike from Bentley. It came from nothing. I think it was Sylvester just cleared the ball and it bounced down. Huddleston chested it down to Bentley, and he's got to be 45 yards out. He's just flicked it up once on the volley, seen the keeper off the line, and he's bent a right-footed swerving shot. As soon as he hit it, you could see Almunia was struggling, and he was always going to struggle to get a hand on it. He eventually got some fingers on it, but what a fantastic goal that is. Game on.
Absolutely takes your breath away as Arsenal try and go forward. There was another David B, wasn't there, all those years ago, who scored a goal from the halfway line for Manchester United. What a response from David Bentley as well, who'd been given, as expected, I mean, he would have expected it from the Arsenal fans, a fair amount of stick here today. He's had quite a lot to say for himself. Before Ramos was sacked, he said, and he was left out of that UEFA Cup game last week, we don't seem to know what we're doing. Well, he knew what he was doing then, Lee. That was spectacular.
When you see something special on a pitch, I always get goosebumps down the back of my neck. And even though, I used to play for the club, Arsenal were caught there, and what a fantastic goal from Bentley. You've got to watch Match of the Day tonight to see that. It was just quite sensational and something special.
I saw, as Arsenal build now with Adebayor, and there's a free kick to Arsenal now. I saw Giovanni score a fantastic goal the last time I was in this stadium for Hull City. That goal from let me tell you now, that goal from David Bentley is going to take some beating for goal of the season.
I had to, as he lifted the ball up, I thought he's not going to shoot here, is he? And then he just launched it with the outside of his foot, and it swerved. So it's a great goal. I can't get over it.
We're going to take you to Aston Villa in a moment, but let's just stay with this Arsenal free kick. Arsenal and their fans stunned. The Arsenal fans know their football. They will have, in a sense, be full of respect for that goal, because that was an incredible goal from David Bentley. You really do need to see that this evening on Match of the Day, 10:45. Fantastic effort from Bentley. Now the free kick for Arsenal. It's Van Persie, and Gomez seemed to see it late, concedes the corner. Let's quickly go to Pat Murphy at Aston Villa.
Excellent goal for Blackburn and Stephen Warnock. Great work by McCarthy, who held the ball up to Warnock, ran past him, pulverising left foot past Friedel. Villa 0, Blackburn 1.
Thank you, Pat. Well, that's also surprising, as Arsenal have a corner kick and Gomez was nowhere. That's gone off one of his defenders, and it's a corner kick to Arsenal, looking for a quick response here. Adebayor, desperate to get the ball back from the crowd, gives it to Van Persie. Arsenal 0, Spurs 1. One of the best goals you're ever likely to see in the Premier League, and it's a corner kick for Arsenal, and it doesn't clear the first defender, who was Tom Huddleston. Comes back to Danielson, who picks out Clichy back inside the centre circle. Clichy down the centre, looking for Walcott. Walcott taps it back. Arsenal have Van Persie with a shot, and Van was not very far away at all. From this angle, I thought that was going in the end. It's just gone wide of the post for a goal kick for Tottenham.
Two great efforts Van Persie just had. Firstly from the free kick, and a good save from Gomez, and we saw perhaps a snippet of what Gomez is all about. A good save, then from the resulting corner, a flapper across, mistake that went out for another corner, and then Van Persie with a really good shot, and we thought it was in from here, but the angle we had, it looked like we'd gone in the bottom corner.
We're going to Manchester United and Conor McNamara.
Manchester United 1, West Ham 0. Cristiano Ronaldo has scored the opening goal here. After a sustained period of pressure for the champions, they had a few chances. Tevez in the area, Berbatov in the area. The ball didn't go out of play. It kept coming back and back, and eventually Nani cut it back for Ronaldo. Very good finish into the bottom corner. Manchester United 1, West Ham 0.
The night is building here in the Premier League. Really is turning out to be very, very interesting. I'll remind you of the scores in a moment. Here we've had an absolutely stunning goal from David Bentley to give Harry Redknapp Spurs the lead. We're going to go to the team at the top of the Premier League at the moment, Liverpool, Portsmouth and Ian Dennis.
And it's all Liverpool. Peter Crouch is isolated on his return to Anfield, but David James and other Liverpool old boys made a significant contribution, saving well from Dirk Kuyt after an excellent move down the right-hand side, pushing the Dutchman's shot onto the post. All Liverpool, still 0-0.
And back to Hull, John Murray.
Still Hull 0, Chelsea 1. That very, very good early goal from Frank Lampard in this match. Chelsea looking dangerous every time they come forward, but Hull have created opportunities as well. A free kick from Giovanni from 40 yards that Peter Cech had to beat out, and remember Kusan's shot hit the post, but Chelsea lead 1-0.
And we're going to hear from Ian Brown watching Bolton and Everton,
where it's 0-0 in a Northwest derby that hasn't attracted much of a crowd. Riga and Nolan have had cracks at goal for Bolton, but they've both been easily saved by Howard. Everton just having the better of it. A little bit of magic from Arteta, but Yakubu's header on the end of his cross was a tame one. It's still 0-0.
Thank you very much. Can't get used to having so many Premier League games on at the same time. We're going to go to Middlesbrough in a moment, but here comes Spurs leading 1-0. Modric has the ball, and Spurs visibly lifted by that goal from Bentley. They have the ball through Modric again down that right-hand side, and that's offside against Hutton. So here's Peter Slater at Middlesbrough.
Where it's goalless between Borough and Manchester City, although the home goalkeeper Ross Turnbull twice forced into action, saving first from Robinho after Ireland dispossessed Deegard, and then diving to his right to punch clear from Sean Wright-Phillips. So a decent start from City, but it's goalless after 20 minutes.
Thank you. Stoke and Sunderland, Mike Shaw.
Likewise here, Mike. Stoke 0, Sunderland 0. Still the best chance falling to Ricardo Fuller. His stabbed shot coming off the thigh of Anton Ferdinand. Say Olofinjana also had a left foot drive from around 20 yards out. That was saved by Martin Fulop. Still Stoke 0, Sunderland 0.
And also in London, Fulham and Wigan, Nigel Adderley.
Where Fulham still lead Wigan by a goal to 0. Andy Johnson scoring his first Fulham goal, turning in Paul Konchesky's cross from clearly an offside position. Wigan, though, have responded well. Their two Hondurans, Figueroa and Palacios, both going close. 1-0 to Fulham.
Thank you very much. We're going to have a corner kick here to Arsenal. First, Kilmarnock and Celtic, Brian McLaughlin.
Still 1-0 Celtic. Scott McDonald, the scorer, his fourth of the season, glancing a Sean Maloney corner into the net. That goal has somewhat rattled the home side, who had started relatively lively, but still Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 1.
It's a corner kick to Arsenal over on the far side, rocked and stunned by a quite wonderful goal here from Tottenham's David Bentley. Arsenal still with an hour to go in this game. In comes the corner. It travelled quite a long way. It was headed away then on the edge of the 6-yard area by Spurs, and it's collected by Clichy over on the far side. Nasri takes over and feeds Danielson, who's back inside the centre circle. Everybody back now apart from Pavlyuchenko for Tottenham. Arsenal now moving it over that left-hand side of the field. It's played into Robin Van Persie. Van Persie tries to climb over a few challenges. Walcott digs it in, away by Chorluka. Still not clear. Opportunity for Van Persie, and he just wanted that extra touch. And he's, in the end, denied by the defender. It's a corner kick to Arsenal, but they're starting to really apply the pressure now.
Mike, he's got to hit that with his right foot. He had plenty of time on the edge of the box just to swing his right foot at it. As soon as he brings it back on his left, Gina's closed him down.
Corner to Arsenal. Higher one this time, looking for Gallas. It's away by Chorluka, and Gallas settles for the throw-in down this near side. Arsenal fans urging their team to respond here. They're trailing by 1-0 to Spurs. Throw into Arsenal. Ball played back to Sanya, the right back. Sanya immediately closed down by Bale. Bale helping out his left back. Now Gallas, just on Gallas from inside the Spurs half, sends it all the way back to Almunia. Now Clichy for Arsenal.
Good pressing from Tottenham there. They forced them all the way back to Gallas at right back, and he ended up passing it back to Almunia, which shows that the midfield's all working together and closing the ball down.
Adebayor onto Theo Walcott, just on the edge of the area. Walcott's ball in. Well, Hutton's conceded a rather unnecessary corner, I thought. He could have cleared that one, but he's decided to just waft it behind. And Nasri has the possession and has the ball and has the corner and waits for Silvestre and Gallas to go forward for Arsenal. In goes the corner kick, swirling for Arsenal. Whoa! Gomez caught it and then dropped it. And it's now William Gallas. And that's going to be a goal kick. I thought there was a deflection. Adebayor's appealing for a corner kick. William Gallas hit it very quickly and rather hurriedly, and it's gone over for a goal kick. But there you have the sort of eccentric goalkeeping once more from Gomez.
Gomez a la Grobbelaar there, wasn't he? I mean, again, another cross coming, seemingly a simple one. He's so tall, he reaches so high for the ball above everybody else's head, and then he dropped it. And it was a chance that fell to Gallas. I thought he then got a deflection. It should have been a corner, but it wasn't given. But the trouble with Arsenal is at the moment they have to stay patient, because what's happening is when they're forcing the midfield, Danielson and Fabregas are pushing on and leaving that gap that we talked about before that Modric is just going to sit in. Just before those two chances, Tottenham had a bit of space in that little hole that Modric is playing in.
The Premier League games with goals: Aston Villa 0, Blackburn Rovers 1, Hull 0, Chelsea 1, Fulham 1, Wigan 0. Here comes David Bentley now for Spurs. Dink ball in, and Almunia this time happy to see it go over his bar for a goal kick to Arsenal. Terrific end-to-end stuff here. Elsewhere, Manchester United 1, West Ham 0. That was a Cristiano Ronaldo goal. So Lampard scoring for Chelsea at Hull, Johnson for Fulham against Wigan, and Warnock for Blackburn Rovers against Aston Villa. In Scotland, it's Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 1, but this is the game really which has had the goal of the night so far. I say that without even having seen any of the other goals. I'm quite confident in making that statement, I think. David Bentley's goal, long ball forward, a rather aimless one here from Arsenal. They tend to be more constructive than that normally. Spurs clear, and it's a good touch from Bentley on the ball. Huddleston's there helping him out in midfield. Sort of ambles forward, Huddleston, and then drills it down the right-hand side. Hutton goes flying forward until a good challenge comes in from Gal Clichy, the left-back, and Spurs, halfway inside the Arsenal half, have a throw-in over on the far side there, right. Arsenal 0, Spurs 1. Harry Redknapp's first away game, if you can call it an away game, I suppose, just down the road. Now Adebayor, just inside the Spurs half. Good determined challenge comes in from David Bentley, and it's a throw to Arsenal over on the far side. Spurs haven't won away to Arsenal in the league since the Highbury days, the very first season of the Premier League, 1993, but Arsenal fans will tell you it didn't count because it was only 4 days before the FA Cup final, when it was a much weakened side. Lee Dixon was left out, for example, and John Hendry scored 2 for Spurs, but that was the last time, and that was 15 years ago. Arsenal now, still plenty of time to get themselves back into this game. We're into the last half of this first half, and then Arsenal again give it away, back to that man Gomez.
They've got to make it stick up front. If they're going to play balls up and then their midfield players are going to make runs off that, it's got to stick up front, and at the moment it's not doing them. Probably, Tottenham deserve a lead. Bentley started to get in the game on the right, and if you can get past Clichy as a winger, you're doing well, because for me he's one of the best full-backs in the league.
Going to ask you again about that goal in a minute, Lee, just in case anybody's not been with us. Good point, really, that someone's just passed on to me. It was a fantastic goal, but having got a hand to it, should Almunia have done better?
Well, the thing is with that, when you're diving backwards like that, because he was out of position, unexpected, over his head, when you're diving back towards your goal, it's so difficult to get any power. I know that because I play with Dave Seaman in the Naeem from the halfway line game, which was very similar. He was diving back, and when you're diving back, you just can't get any power on it. And it was, we've seen on the monitor, we've seen how much it swerved away from him as well.
But being no doubt that Bentley intended that one, that was absolutely going for goal, and he managed it, and that's the goal between the two sides so far. And now Asu Ekoto has, right in front of the referee, foul Walcott, and Arsenal have a free kick, which is just nudged off by Fabregas to Sagna. Now Fabregas tries to get it long, hits a Spurs player on the way, and Arsenal gain about a dozen yards down this near side for a throw-in.
Mike, were you suggesting that Naeem didn't mean it from the halfway line?
Well, not so much that one. I was thinking more about another David Seaman, the Ronaldinho one in the...
No, he didn't mean that one.
No, exactly. So, but this one was absolutely intended. You're listening to Sport on 5. Lee Dixon's with us here tonight at the Emirates Stadium. Spurs are leading through a fantastic goal from David Bentley. He tried his luck from almost the edge of the centre circle, and backpedaling all the time was Almunia. He got one hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out of the net, and Harry Redknapp actually just getting a replay of that, looking quite cool really under the circumstances. No big celebration of the goal. He knows there's still a long way to go in this match. As Arsenal tidy up, it's a good bit of tidying up as well from Sagna. Finds Walcott back inside his own half. Walcott is denied by Genius, and now Sagna is penalised by the referee for a foul on Bale, and Tottenham can get a few players forward now, including Jonathan Woodgate. Hard for Woodgate to get a real central defensive understanding going at the moment, losing Ledley King and playing tonight with Chorluka. Dawson suspended, free kick, and Bentley, the man of the moment, comes across from the right to the left to stand over the ball. Free kick to Spurs though, leading by 1-0. Plenty of height in the area. Huddleston, Pavlyuchenko, and Woodgate's there too. The free kick will be taken by David Bentley. In high, two fists from Almunia before Huddleston can threaten. The ball drops to Hutton over on the far side, charging forward until Adebayor holds him up, and then Hutton just stumbles over the line. Adebayor's final touch presents Spurs with a throw-in, level with the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. 1-0 to Spurs. The ball is with Bentley, skimmed in towards the 6-yard area, cleared by Arsenal, and Arsenal will now have throw-in over on the far side of the field.
Great ball in there from David Bentley from the free kick, whipping it into that near post. Goalkeeper, does he come out and punch it and clatter into players? It was a very brave decision to come off his line there, Almunia, and he made the right decision in the end, but good quality again from Bentley.
Walcott goes past Genius, then has to check. Sagna helps him out. Arsenal keeping the possession, but going back into the centre circle. Silvestri now spreads it to the far side of the field. Arsenal 0, Spurs 1 on Sport on 5. I'll remind you of the other games with goals so far in a moment. Fabregas now, back to Danielson. Lots of passing from Arsenal, but Spurs have got all the bodies back behind the ball. Gallas now, giving it away. Woodgate was waiting. Woodgate up to the halfway line. Pavlyuchenko a little isolated, needing some support once more. In comes the challenge, and, well, no free kick given. Referee was happy with that challenge. Arsenal take the possession. Blackburn are leading 1-0 at Aston Villa. Fulham 1, Wigan 0. Chelsea 1 up early on through Lampard at Hull. Manchester United 1, West Ham 0. That was Ronaldo. And in Scotland, Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 1. Here, a Bentley goal for Spurs. And we have 16 minutes to go in the first half at the Emirates Stadium. The ball is with Danielson. Danielson into Walcott. Walcott keeps his balance very well down this near side. Nasri's now joining in. Nasri, Van Persie's gone into the penalty area. Still Nasri. Can't find Walcott. Spurs managed to clear. Up to the man with the blue boots, Luka Modric. Modric is chased all the way by Sagna, who gets a good challenge in. Good competitive stuff there. Throw to Spurs.
See a big difference in the Tottenham back line than the other week at Stoke. They were very indecisive at Stoke. They didn't really know what line to play, and when I talk about that, it's how high or how deep you play as a back four. Yes, it helps when you're 1-0 up and you've got 4 hard-working midfield players in front of you, but Woodgate's got a really good line going on with Chorluka. There's no space behind them, and when the ball goes tight, they're first there. Adebayor's had no space at all. Van Persie likes to drop off in that hole, but he's just running into Genius and Huddleston. So they're struggling to find any space. I'd like to see Walcott getting in the game a little bit more, and obviously Nasri on the other side have been passengers really so far.
Arsene Wenger looking a bit exasperated at the moment. We'll go back to Liverpool and Ian Dennis.
Rafa Benitez is feeling the same, Mike. It's still Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0. The league leaders have dominated proceedings, but they really yet to click in the final third. Bouba Diop had a free header straight at Rayner for Portsmouth. Since you were last with us, Carragher's tested James from long range, and Couch turn and shot from the edge of the area over the top. Still goalless at Anfield.
Here comes Walcott for Arsenal, tries his luck, wins a corner. We'll go to Manchester United, Conor McNamara.
Still Manchester United 1, West Ham 0. Cristiano Ronaldo's goal inside the opening quarter of an hour. Nani is in sparkling form this evening. He scored come close to a second goal. It's men against boys at the moment. West Ham have not managed a shot yet. Mind you, Everton played this badly in the first half on Saturday, and they did much better in the second half. So perhaps hope for West Ham there. But Manchester United 1, West Ham 0 for now.
Thank you. Corner kick to Arsenal. Pavlyuchenko, I'm not sure how much he knew about it, but he managed to get his body in there and clear it. We'll go to Kilmarnock again and Brian McLaughlin.
Kilmarnock 0, Celtics 2. Shinsuke Nakamura, trademark free kick, 25 yards out into the top right-hand corner of Alan Combs' net. 2-0 Celtic.
Thank you. This time next week we'll have Celtic and Manchester United for you in the Champions League. In the meantime, back to Pat Murphy at Villa Park.
Equaliser for Aston Villa. Scruffy affair turned in by Luke Young of all people. Paul Robinson not claiming a high centre. Mixture of knee, jockstrap probably, but doesn't matter, Mike. It's the equaliser. Villa 1, Blackburn 1.
Thank you. Unlikely goal scorers, it seems, really, in that Warnock, I think, scored for Blackburn and Young there for, that's not Ashley Young, Luke Young for Aston Villa. Villa 1, Blackburn 1. Here, Arsenal building, but back inside. Oh, lovely ball from Fabregas. Finds Walcott. They're trying to play it to Walcott as much as they possibly can. Nudged off by Walcott to Adebayor. Adebayor with a sort of languid run of his. Plays the ball into the centre of midfield. This is better from Arsenal. Danielson finds Clichy. Early ball in from Clichy towards Van Persie. May drop here to Walcott. Walcott trying to turn. Walcott shot! In the end, straight at Gomez.
Good ball in from Clichy, that, wasn't it? And Woodgate did quite well. I think he got the flick on it, but when it come to Walcott on the far side, jinked back on his favoured right foot and got his shot away. But Gomez is good at them. As I said to you before, he's good at saving.
Ball coming back at the Spurs defenders once more. Van Persie into Walcott in the area. Walcott with a shot, and he delayed it. And in the end, he struck it straight at the defender, Asu Ikoto. That was an opening for Walcott, Lee.
It was. He just needed to try and get a yard of space to get his shot away, but the fullback did really well, held his line, didn't dive in, and Walcott in the end had to blast it.
Oh, good effort from Clichy from 30 yards, but Gomez seemed to have it covered. But here, perhaps Arsenal not quite ruthless enough when they get the ball into the penalty area, the Spurs penalty area. Back to Old Trafford, Conor McNamara.
Manchester United 2, West Ham 0. A second goal for Cristiano Ronaldo, but this was all about how Dimitar Berbatov set it up for him. A brilliant turn on the byline, bamboozled the West Ham defence, and he rolled it back in field. A simple tap in for Ronaldo. Manchester United 2, West Ham 0.
Well, nothing like a scoreline here to get the Arsenal fans roused, because Spurs are leading by 1-0 here, and Pavlyuchenko going forward throws himself down on the edge of the penalty area. Still needs clearing by Gallas, and Sanya in the end gets it back downfield to Theo Walcott, who's taking a wee while to turn here. Walcott. Arsenal find themselves back on the edge of their own penalty area once more as we go back to Hull and John Murray.
Half-time in Hull, Chelsea winning 1-0 through Frank Lampard's 7th goal of the season. An excellent first-time left-foot chip after only 2.5 minutes of the match. Chelsea could easily have more, but then Hull have had the odd moment as well, most notably the shot from Cousin that hit a post. Half-time, Hull City 0, Chelsea 1.
That was a 7:45 game, the same at Fulham-Wigan. Nigel Adderley.
And it's Fulham 1, Wigan 0 at half-time. A scrappy match with a goal which shouldn't have been allowed. Andy Johnson scoring his first Fulham goal in the 10th minute, although he was clearly offside when he flicked in a cross from Paul Konchesky. Wigan will believe they should be level. Amir Zaki placed a shot too close to Mark Schwarzer, and Paul Scharner headed over from 2 yards. Fulham 1, Wigan 0.
We've got a Stoke in a moment as Arsenal now step forward through Danielson to Nasri down the left-hand side. Nasri's ball in slightly behind Adebayor. He can't turn though. The Spurs defending was terrific, and now Tottenham themselves coming on a counter-attack, but Genius doesn't have too many options, and in fact in the end gives the ball away and then brings down Danielson. That was poor play from the Spurs captain on the night, Jermaine Genius. We get a Stoke and Mike Shaw.
We're at half-time. It's Stoke 0, Sunderland 0. Stoke, the better team by far, and also with the better chances, the best of which fell to Ricardo Fuller after 11 minutes. His prodded shot coming back off the thigh of Anton Ferdinand. Rory Delap's powerful long throws and Sidibe's height are causing Sunderland all sorts of problems. Stoke 0, Sunderland 0.
The other 7:45 game, by the way, is Villa Park, where it's 1-1. And I think it might be half-time now. Pat Murphy. We'll hear from Pat shortly. Anyway, here come Arsenal with much to do. And we have 10 minutes to go in the first half. Lee Dixon with us here tonight, watching something he hasn't really seen too many times over the last few years. Spurs winning away to Arsenal. Arsenal now look to Gallas, and Gallas finds Sanya. It's been played a little too slowly, but now Walcott gives them a bit of a burst. Here goes Walcott flying for Arsenal. Still Walcott jumps around the challenges. Van Persie, lots of white shirts around him. Van Persie can't get the shot in. And in the way was Chorluka, who then slips as he tries to clear, and now gets back on his feet quickly because Arsenal have the ball. Arsenal now through Clichy. Clichy to Nasri over on the left-hand side. There are 3 Arsenal players in the penalty area, if the cross can come in. It's played back, though, to Clichy. Clichy once more to Nasri. Nasri goes past the first player, who was Genius, but now there's another one waiting for him. Has to give it away. Finds Danielson. Danielson in with some urgency towards Van Persie. The referee says play on as Arsenal build once more. Fabregas under pressure from Modric. Fabregas with Modric sort of snapping at his ankles. Arsenal forced to go sideways. Sanya infield now to Danielson. Danielson to Gallas, who stepped forward. Now Walcott once more. Walcott, though, can't go past Huddleston. Great interception from the England under-21 man, but Spurs lose the ball straight away. Now they have a chance on the counter-attack. Bentley needs some options here. Bentley against Clichy. Clichy comes in and the referee says play on again. The Spurs look for a free kick. The ball down the Arsenal left. Adebayor is waiting for it to come into the area. Shot right across the goal in the end from Cesc Fabregas, who's appealing for the corner kick, and the referee's given it.
Well, a great passage of play there from both teams. Tottenham defensively and Arsenal with the ball, and they created the chances by a bit of pace from Walcott, but I just looked in the box and there was 10 Tottenham players defending for their lives. Well played both sides. It was brilliant football.
8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Arsenal 0, Spurs 1. It's an Arsenal corner kick. Oh, and Gomez has lost it. And Mikel Silvestre was there to head in the equaliser. The corner kick was taken by Van Persie, and Mikel Silvestre, once of Manchester United, scores with his head, and Arsenal level with Spurs 1-1.
Well, it's not for me to tell Harry Redknapp who his signings are going to be, but he'll be looking at the goalkeeper for sure. Gets nowhere near that. If you're going to come off your line, you have to make contact with the ball. He comes off his line. We've seen over the last few weeks him do that. He's made more contact with his defenders over the last few weeks. Comes to punch. It's the 3rd cross he's missed, and Silvestre just gets in front of him and heads into an empty net. You have to say that it was coming as far as Arsenal pressure, but the defence that Tottenham have put up been impregnable, apart from the couple of mistakes that the goalkeeper's made, and it's cost them.
Silvestre's first goal for Arsenal. It's Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 2 at half-time in Scotland. And we have a North London derby here. And having scored such a fantastic goal, Spurs, what a poor goal to concede, Lee.
Poor defensively. I mean, the defenders are in the right place. As the ball comes in, you have to attack the ball. Gomez has taken it on himself to come and punch, and he's got nowhere near it.
Here comes Modric now for Spurs, looking for a quick reply. Modric tries a shot, very optimistic that one. That's 5 yards wide of Almunia's left-hand post. There's a great atmosphere now around the Emirates Stadium. 1-1 and still 7 minutes to go in the first half. Elsewhere, Manchester United leading West Ham 2-0, Ronaldo 2. Still Bolton 0, Everton 0, Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0, and Middlesbrough 0, Manchester City 0. A really good scrap here between these two. Arsenal getting the support now as Fabregas, who did really well in forcing the corner in the first place, for Arsenal to equalise. And now Tom Huddleston for Spurs. Finds Hutton down the Spurs right. Hutton charging in field. Loves to go forward, Hutton. The ball might break to Bentley down the right. In comes a cross from Bentley. Well, Almunia decided to punch that one. From here it looked as if he might have been able to catch it, but he's punched it to the far side, and Spurs quickly take the throw. Huddleston, high ball into the area, but that's going to run away from everybody from Spurs, and it's a goal kick to Arsenal.
Unusual choice that, to punch that one, wasn't it? It seemed like he'd just catch on his chest, but you know, I'm sure he knows better. I think he was a little bit out of position, and he thought it was going to go to the near post a little bit shorter than it did, and he's just dived and double punched it like the foreign goalkeepers do. But at the other end, Gomez really needs to sort his crosses out. I mean, I feel sorry for Woodgate and Chorluka, because they've kicked, they've headed, they've battled, they've kicked everything away, and when it comes to a simple corner like that, for your goalkeeper to come over the top and miss the ball, it's really criminal.
Silvestre, Lee, obviously bought to defend, but do you think he's been quite a shrewd acquisition by Arsenal?
Yeah, I do. I think, you know, you have to look at Sir Alex Ferguson. If he's letting Silvestre go, then you question the signing, but then you see who signed him, and it's Arsene Wenger. So
Walcott spins around Asuikoto. Walcott, in the end, almost presented the ball to Woodgate in the end. Sometimes he's too quick for himself, even Theo Walcott. And now Modric almost caught in possession. Spurs have to be careful now. They have to get to half-time. They've had a really good first half. They led through a thrilling goal, but now they're coming, and it's with Bentley down that right-hand side of the field. Another ball in from Bentley to test the goalkeeper. He's just getting a bit carried away, I think, David Bentley. And now a terrific throw out from Almunia finds Theo Walcott on the halfway line. Walcott into Fabregas inside the centre circle. Fabregas gets away from Bentley. Still Fabregas. Now he's got Huddleston up against him, but he's managed to turn and tries to find Adebayor, who was waiting for that one to come onto him. Chorluka's desperate clearance, though, straight back again to Arsenal. And Spurs hanging on a little bit at times when they're defending here. Danielson to the far side finds Clichy in space. Clichy just inside the Spurs half. Arsenal playing from left to right. 1-1 at the Emirates. Bentley for Spurs, and Silvestre a few moments ago with a header from a corner. Little Nasri now down the Arsenal left. Arsenal just keeping possession. Clichy down the line, ball to Adebayor, who got away from his marker superbly. Arsenal keeping it. Now they play it further down the line to Nasri. Nasri's waiting for Clichy to make a run. Nasri finds Clichy. Clichy whips in the cross. Gomez looking for Asuikoto to deal with it. Woodgate in the end clears, but only as far as Danielson again. And Spurs are just giving it straight back too many times here to Arsenal, putting themselves under pressure. Silvestre, the goal scorer, now back inside his own half. Finds William Gallas. Fabregas, who seems to be absolutely everywhere as always. Arsenal building now. Nasri's playing at left back. He's got Clichy on the outside. Nasri rolls the ball to Fabregas. Touch back to Danielson. Arsenal patiently trying to work an opening. Nasri appealed for handball there, not given. Spurs through the midfield and played forward by Huddleston, but Gallas is there before Pavlyuchenko can threaten, and it's headed back to Almunia.
Just going back to that, the ball came in, a great ball in, I think it was from Clichy, and Theo Walcott standing out on the right wing when the ball's in the left back position in the box. He's got to push in there and put the full back under pressure. It was an easy clearance in the end.
Fabregas again, dinking it forward. Adebayor's layoff this time behind Theo Walcott. In the games that are still being played in the first half, the 8 o'clock kickoffs, Manchester United lead West Ham by 2-0. Still Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0. Liverpool will not want to spoil things, having had that great win at Chelsea by being held by Portsmouth. Bolton 0, Everton 0, Middlesbrough 0, Manchester City 0. Chelsea, remember, one up at half-time at Hull through Lampard after 2.5 minutes. Stoke 0, Sunderland 0, Fulham 1, Wigan 0, Andy Johnson. And Aston Villa 1, Blackburn 1. Blackburn took the lead in that game, but just like this one, the home side have come back to make it 1-1. Huddleston now for Spurs. Hutton helps him out down the right-hand side. Back again to Huddleston, who didn't really get much of a look in under Juan de Ramos. Zakora has been left out again by Harry Redknapp. David Bentley, remember, last week couldn't even make the bench for Spurs for the game against Udinese in the UEFA Cup, having come out with those critical comments of the former regime. Woodgate inside the centre circle. Spurs just having a bit of a breather here, having been under so much pressure from Arsenal almost really since Bentley scored. Asuikoto drills it forward. It's too strong for Modric. Silvestre has to be quick, manages to find Van Persie on the halfway line. Silvestre has just gone down on the knock. Ball is played forward. Woodgate gets in ahead of Adebayor. Silvestre getting back on his feet slowly as Tottenham take the possession over on the far side. Bentley and Hutton, they've been linking together quite well in this first half for Spurs, down the right-hand side. Ginas switches the play, finds Asuikoto. Good ball from him now to Huddleston. That's better from Spurs. Huddleston onto Gareth Bale, playing on the left-hand side of midfield this evening. Now Modric, quite deep for him. Modric, square ball to Ginas. Hutton's calling for it down the right. Now Hutton for Spurs, halfway inside the Arsenal half. Pavlyuchenko and Bale are in the penalty area. Hutton's having to keep it under great pressure from Nasri, and now it's back inside the Spurs half, and Chorluka from a long way out finds goalkeeper Gomez.
I think both sides are waiting for half-time, aren't they? I think Arsenal put so much effort into attacking in the last 15 minutes or so, they've run out of pace a little bit, and Tottenham are just happy to pass the ball around,
almost
which is fine, but Arsenal need to just pressurise them a little bit, because they've got back into the game, and the pressure's on Tottenham now to last till half-time, so it's like a boxing match at the moment. They're both waiting for the bell, aren't they?
45 seconds of the first half to go, maybe a minute. Token gesture, I suppose, of added time. And now it's Danielson for Arsenal. Danielson to Sagna, down this near side, Arsenal's right. Walcott, touched back to Danielson. Danielson with a very deliberate-looking ball forward, and Bale taking no chances against two Arsenal players, concedes the throw-in by the corner flag. Ball is thrown back to Danielson, and that's cut out by Asuakoto, and Arsenal have a throw-in, and we've about 5 seconds of the first half to go, plus, says the fourth official, 1 minute of added time. Throw to Arsenal. Walcott on the ball. Dinkton. It's 0-0 between Liverpool and Portsmouth at half-time. We'll be going back to Mark Saggers at Anfield in just a few moments. Genus now for Spurs. Genus, and that was all very hurried from Spurs as Arsenal closed down well and take the possession once more. And I would imagine you've quite enjoyed this first half, Lee.
Yeah, it's been a really intriguing game. I think Tottenham have done really well apart from the goal. I think they've set the line out. They've pressurised when they've needed to. Their midfield has been tight. Their back four for me has been the highlight. I think Woodgate has marshalled them really well. Chorluka, who I've been a bit critical of late, has played well as well. And the one thing that's let them down is just the goalkeeper coming for crosses. 3 crosses he's come for. He hasn't got any of them, and one of them led to a goal. So I think Harry Redknapp will be pleased. He'll be disappointed that they're not leading, but I think he'll be pleased with a point. If it stays like this for the rest of the game, he'll be more than happy.
We're about to have a Harry Redknapp team talk for Spurs, who haven't been behind yet under his management. They're folding Arsenal here 1-1 as we approach half-time. There may be one more opportunity for Arsenal. Arsenal building. There's still a long way from Gomez. Goal away to our right. Sanya gives it back, and there goes the half-time whistle. So Harry Redknapp now makes his way briskly into the tunnel area below us to, no doubt, Lee, encourage his side quite a lot, because they've given a lot to that first half, but maybe just sort one or two things out.
I think they'll be really pleased in the Tottenham dressing room, and Arsenal as well, because they've got back in the game. They're playing their passing stuff. It's set up for a really good second half, because Tottenham will have to come out and do some more defending. You can make sure about that, because Arsenal have got the bit between the teeth now.
Arsene Wenger apparently unhappy about something. I'm not sure what, but he went off, stomped off, not happy. Anyway, at half-time here, after a wonderful David Bentley goal to give Spurs the lead, an equaliser for Arsenal, a Silvestre header from a corner, makes it Arsenal 1, Tottenham 1. As you can imagine, most of the talk during the half-time break here has been really reflecting on that David Bentley goal, which apparently was officially from 39 yards. And he controlled it on his chest. He was sort of on the edge of the centre circle, really, and then just before the ball hit the ground, he chanced his arm. He saw Almunia off his line, and Almunia managed to get a hand to it but couldn't stop it going directly, and it was sort of shades of 9 all those years ago in the Cup Winners' Cup final. So Spurs thrillingly in front, but then Arsenal really kind of took over here, didn't they, Lee? And
they did.
And in the end, I suppose, a softish goal for Spurs to concede, Silvestre's header from the corner.
Yeah, it was, and as I said to you before, I'm disappointed from my centre halves if I was a Tottenham manager, because they played a proper game in the first half. They were tight when they needed to be. They dropped off when they needed to be. And I thought they got the back line perfectly right. But you can't legislate for a goalkeeper coming off his line 3 or 4 times, as we saw in the first half, and making mistakes. And it was only a matter of time before one of them fell to an Arsenal player, and it did. And Silvestre getting his goal. An easier header he won't get as long as he plays till he's 40.
A North London derby, fiercely competitive, no yellow cards.
No, I saw the referee have a couple of chats with some players in the first half, very sensible, because if once you start giving them in a North London derby, or any derby for that matter, they can be like confetti. So I think Mr. Atkinson's refereed the game really well.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what impression, what impact Harry Redknapp has managed to have on Spurs in particular, as they start this second half playing from left to right. Their lineup: Gomez, Hutton, Chorluka, Woodgate and Asuakoto, Huddleston, Bentley, Genus, Bale, Modric and Pavlyuchenko. But for the first time in the second half, Arsenal going forward over on that right-hand side. I'll give you their lineup in a moment. Over on that far side is Robin van Persie, and this is going to be a free kick to Arsenal. Referee didn't like the challenge on Van Persie, who's now standing over the ball, and as the crowd settle down for the second half, Silvestre goes forward with William Gallas, Adebayor's there as well, and Sanya in the penalty area away to our left. A free kick to Arsenal. 1-1 here, and it goes! And it's William Gallas who celebrates! The free kick was taken by Robin van Persie, and Spurs have been undone yet again with a headed goal from a set piece. Van Persie in the first half a corner. Now we have a goal from a free kick after only 48 seconds. Whatever Harry Redknapp said at half-time has got out of the window, and Arsenal lead 2-1.
Well, I was keeping my eye on the goalkeeper, because it was one of those where he could have come off his line and made a mistake again. So I had my eye on Gomez and forgot to watch the ball, and as it comes in, I think Chorluka it is who gets out jumped by Gallas, and a simple header in the end, and the goalkeeper no chance. It's one of those where he doesn't come, he stays on his line, which is the right decision, but if you give a free header to a player of Gallas's ability in the air, he's going to hit the target, and he did, and 2-1 Arsenal.
Well, start the second half well would have been Harry Redknapp's overriding instruction, as now Modric bends the ball into the far post. It's going to run away from Huddleston. We're going to go to Fulham in a moment. We'll just see whether whether Spurs can get back in here, having gone 2-1 down now here at the Emirates Stadium. No, Spurs are right back in the deep as we go to Fulham and Nigel Adderley.
It's now Fulham 2, Wigan 0. A second goal for Andy Johnson, and no doubts about the validity of this one. A very clever goal as well. Bullard's quickly taken free kick. Johnson darted into the penalty area and slipped it beyond Chris Kirkland. Now Wigan trail by 2.
Well, I'm telling you, here at the Emirates, a lot of people, I think, would have missed that goal, because there are still a lot of people reclaiming their seats for the second half. David Bentley now for Spurs with the ball in, dangerous ball in as well. Headed away well by Arsenal. It's really end-to-end here. Arsenal 2, I haven't even had time to give you the Arsenal lineup in the second half. It's Almunia, Sagna, Gallas, Silvestre and Clichy, Walcott, Fabregas, Danielson, Nasri, Adebayo and Van Persie. Well, despite the presence of players like Van Persie and Fabregas and Adebayor and Walcott, the goals have come from the 2 centre-backs, the 2 Frenchmen, Silvestre and Gallas. And Arsenal, who were a goal down here to Spurs in the North London derby, now lead by 2-1. But here comes Spurs with Asu Akoto over on the left-hand side. Ball played in, another dangerous one. It needs clearing by Nasri. Nasri's ball downfield. Well run by Chorluka, but it'll drop to Walcott over on the far side. And here goes the sort of jet-propelled Theo Walcott down the right for Arsenal. Needs a few players to join in and help. Finds Cesc Fabregas. Fabregas 30 yards away from Gomez goal. Now Clichy near side. 5 Live Sport. Arsenal 2, Spurs 1. I'll remind you of the other scores in a moment as Fabregas now finds Sagna. Sagna down the right. Apparently Arsene Wenger at half-time, when I said he was unhappy, it was with Sagna. He went to Sagna to complain about something that he'd done. Now here's Pat Murphy at Villa Park.
A goal for Aston Villa and the collector's item, the right foot of Gareth Barry. He couldn't miss from about 4 yards out after all the hard work had been done by the excellent Agbonhor. Credited to Barry, couldn't miss. Villa 2, Blackburn 1.
Thank you, Pat. Same scoreline here and same scenario really, because Blackburn were in front. Villa now lead 2-1, and the same here. Arsenal, who were a goal down to Spurs, now leading by 2-1. Both of the goals from set pieces. The goal of the night, though, from Spurs, from Bentley. Clichy finds Gallas, the goal scorer, who lays the ball off, and Arsenal, once they've got the ball, are making it very difficult for Spurs to get it back again. Arsenal typically building, lots of little one-touches in midfield. Danielson on the edge of the centre circle, knowing that Fabregas will always be available. Ball played into Walcott. The challenge came in, but they're unable to deny Theo Walcott. Walcott holds and then gives it back in midfield to Cesc Fabregas. Fabregas looking for an opening here. Fabregas going forward. Lays it off to Van Persie down the left. Adebayor's calling for it. Little sway of the hips from Robin Van Persie. Then into the area to Fabregas. Spurs have to be careful here. The ball drops to Clichy. Clichy fires it in. Appeal the handball not given. Play on, says the referee. The Spurs give it straight back to Arsenal once more. Arsenal with Fabregas and Danielson at the moment totally in charge of midfield. Danielson goes around a challenge. Shot is saved by Gomez. Corner kick to Arsenal far side.
Well, they're under the cosh now, Tottenham. They've got everybody behind the ball, camped on the edge of the box, and Arsenal just picking passes off. They're not getting tight to the player on the ball, and when the ball's played into feet around the box, they're standing off them a little bit, and it's a little bit like a training game at the moment for Arsenal. They've started this half so well. I think going back to the goal, Mike, one of the things that Harry Redknapp would have said is don't give any silly free kicks away in crossing positions or around the box, and that's exactly it. There's a little shirt pull on the far side. I didn't see it was on Van Persie, and when you get a chance to whip the ball in the box, and that's exactly what he did.
Now they're facing a corner from Van Persie. Oh! And it was Silvestre again who got up, and this time headed it wide. There's a penalty at Middlesbrough. Peter Slater.
It's a penalty to the home side. 51 minutes played. Middlesbrough's David Wheater brought down by Nedum Onuoha just inside the penalty area. Seen the replays. I think Lee Mason just about got it right. Afonso Alves is going to take it down to my left. The scores are 0-0, so it's Afonso Alves against Joe Hart. Lee Mason just making sure that everybody is outside the penalty area, that they're not encroaching. And Alves, whose own goalkeeper Ross Turnbull has really kept Middlesbrough in this game with a series of fine saves. He's just making sure everybody is outside the penalty area, and Alves is preparing to take this. The whistle goes, Alves steps up and scores for Middlesbrough. 52.5 minutes played. It's Middlesbrough 1 and Manchester City 0.
Thank you. 9 Premier League matches tonight. Arsenal lead Spurs 2-1, Aston Villa 2, Blackburn 1, Fulham 2, Wigan 0, Hull 0, Chelsea 2, Stoke 0, Sunderland 0, Bolton 0, Everton 0. It's still Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0, Manchester United 2, West Ham 0, and Middlesbrough, as you've heard, 1, Manchester City 0. And in Scotland, Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 2 in the cup tie. The quarter-final. Arsenal have the ball, they have the lead. Gallas just knocking it back to goalkeeper Almunia, and Spurs struggling to get possession here. Harry Redknapp just takes his seat for the second half and sees his team go behind for the first time. So Harry Redknapp finds himself behind for the first time as the Spurs manager. Again, there's a foul on Van Persie, this time by Chorluka. Referee Martin Atkinson wants to speak to him, so won't allow Arsenal to take the free kick quickly.
Well, this is where Harry Redknapp learns about his team now. Look, the character he's got in his team and his squad, whether they can weather this storm and actually find a goal to get back in this game. You know, we've seen them in the past. Tottenham this season, they've got their heads down when they've gone behind. They can't afford to do that. Not against a team like this they can pass you to death, to be honest with you, Arsenal.
Van Persie from roughly the place where Bentley scored for Spurs with this free kick, left-footed into the penalty area. Chorluka gets in, Nasri tries his luck just inside. There's a Spurs injury now inside the penalty area, away to our left, and the injury I think is to Jermaine Genius. He's going to be okay. Hobbles back onto his feet again. Gomez, who's lost out twice here to set pieces against Arsenal. Good scrambling interception now by Danielson near side the field. Aaron Lennon is being warmed up here by Tottenham. He's about to come on any minute now for Spurs. Hutton's chipped the ball forward. Still in play now for David Bentley. Bentley up against 2 Arsenal players. Modric tried to help out Bentley, but now Arsenal coming once more on the counter-attack. Heavy challenge by Asu Ikoto on Theo Walcott, and the foul is given. And a first yellow card of the night to the fullback Asu Ikoto.
That's probably about right. I think the referees give it the fullback a few chances. He's had a few kicks at Walcott and he's let play on, and that time he just barged him off the ball and probably deserved a yellow card.
10 minutes gone in the second half, and Gareth Bale is to make way for Aaron Lennon. So a positive move from Harry Redknapp. In the meantime, back to Brian McLaughlin, Kilmarnock Celtic.
And it's game on here. It's Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 2. Danny Invincible, the scorer, a free kick floated into the back area of the 6-yard box, knocked back across goal to Invincible, who had a simple task to knock the ball into the empty net. Killy 1, Celtic 2.
It's a great name, that. Invincible. That's what Arsenal were a few seasons ago, weren't they, when they had that run all the way through the season unbeaten. And they're leading here now tonight by 2-1. Par for the course, I suppose the home fans will say, against Spurs, but Spurs making life very difficult for Arsenal before the break. Genius now, as Spurs look to try and break. Lennon's just come on, he's playing over on that left-hand side of the field. And Arsenal take possession once more. Ball is played back to Gallas on the edge of his own penalty area. Gallas slips it to Sagna. Sagna's being pressurised all the time. In the end, Gallas thumps the ball to the halfway line. Lovely touch from Van Persie. Fabregas to Adebayor, trying to work the defenders down this near side. Challenge comes in from Hutton, but Clichy keeps it in. And Clichy now goes forward quickly for Arsenal. Van Persie into the area, looking for Walcott. Out comes Gomez, and Gomez gets there first.
Good play there. Van Persie coming deep, spinning with the ball, and then timing the run. Walcott, a diagonal run and a straight ball. And he nearly got him, but well done, the goalkeeper.
Pavlyuchenko's just given offside. The flag was late going up near side. Modric thought he got it through to him. You know, it's a bitterly cold night here, but nobody really aware of the temperature right now. It's a terrific contest, as these games tend to be, Lee, don't they?
Mike, I like, when I've seen Lennon play, I like it when he plays on that left side and cuts in on his right foot. He's a player that offers so much potential, and he never quite, when I've seen him play, produces on a regular basis, and I think he's more effective on that left side, and he's certainly got the legs on Sagna, and Sagna's not slow.
We go to Liverpool, Ian Dennis.
We've been playing for nearly an hour. It's still Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0. Liverpool not at all convincing. The fans becoming agitated and restless as Bouba Diop thrashes one in from long range. Portsmouth keeping their shape well at the back. Only chance so far in the second half. Hoopier's near post header off target, 0-0.
And Manchester United, Conor McNamara.
Still Manchester United 2, West Ham 0. Ronaldo has scored both goals so far. Manchester United completely dominated the first half. Gianfranco Zola has brought on young Jack Collison at half-time in place of Etherington, but it's a long, long way for West Ham to get back into this one. Manchester United 2, West Ham 0.
Well, now we are getting yellow cards. David Bentley's just got one for a foul on Clichy. Ian Brown now joins us from Bolton.
Still Bolton 0, Everton 0. The game is gradually getting worse. I didn't think that was necessarily possible. Lots of mistakes, no fluency from either side. Everton, if you force my hand, I would say just about the better team, but it's Bolton 0, Everton 0.
Well, we'll go to Brian McLaughlin in a moment, but here's another potential danger for Spurs. It's another free kick. This time it's taken by Fabregas, and Gomez doesn't hold it. Van Persie heads it back instinctively towards Gomez's goal, but he got right underneath it, and it's an easy save from Gomez. So here's Brian McLaughlin, Kilmarnock.
Yes, now Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 3. Super play by Celtic. McDonald and Brown combining to set up Aidan McGeady 12 yards out, drilled the ball into the back of the net. Kelly 1, Celtic 3.
And let's update the whole Chelsea for you, John Murray.
It is still Hull City 0, Chelsea 2. Chelsea leading through those goals early in each half from Lampard and Anelka. Hull have taken off Boateng and Marnie and brought on Garcia and Halmosi, but Chelsea are comfortable. They're winning 2-0 here.
On 5 Live Sport, thank you. We'll go to Pat Murphy at Aston Villa.
Villa still winning 2-1, although Blackburn still in this game. Emerton unmarked at the far post a moment ago. Toe poked it wide just after Barry's goal, the second goal for Villa. A stunning save from Friedel against Pedersen, who hits the ball beautifully with his left foot. Athletic volley, great save. Villa 2, Blackburn 1.
Now Clichy for Arsenal, leading here by 2-1. And if Spurs go 3-1 down here, there's another yellow card being flashed now, this time at Huddleston. That ought to be game over, I think. So these are vital moments for Spurs. And they're just starting to lose their discipline a bit, Lee.
Well, they did lose their discipline a little bit at Stoke. We saw that. They got back in the game, and then Stoke took over in the second half, and then there was a few rash tackles coming in, and obviously a couple of sendings off in that game. So they've just got to be careful they don't lose it, because they're still in this game. You know, although they haven't had an awful lot of chances, Tottenham, in the game, they've been quite solid until Arsenal got that leading goal, and now they seem to be getting picked off at will.
Arsenal go to Stoke at the weekend. We go to Stoke, Mike Sewell.
And Stoke have taken the lead, and deservedly so. They've had the better chances and the better possession through the game, and this one came direct from a Rory Delap long throw from the left, a low trajectory, powerfully sent in and headed into the goal by Ricardo Fuller. Stoke 1, Sunderland 0.
The thing is here, Arsenal are working so hard now, so hard, that Tottenham are having no control at all in midfield. They're having to play it very, very hurriedly. Back again to Hull, John Murray.
Chelsea have got it 1 now, a third goal for them. It's Hull City 0, Chelsea 3, and Malouda has scored this one from Ricardo Carvalho's pass on the left-hand side. Nicely finished from 8-9 yards out. So Hull City 0, Chelsea 3.
3 Spurs bookings in 4 minutes here. And we always go on about the admirable quality of Arsenal's football, but it's the work rate right now which is impressing, as Clichy now steps forward into the penalty area. Clichy lays it square, tries to find Fabregas. Bent on, mistake at the back by Spurs, and a shot comes in. Oh, Adebayor should have made that 3-1. And from 10 yards out, he's thumped it wide.
Well, that's not like him against Spurs. He normally scores, and he had a great chance. It was a mistake on the edge of the box, and the ball bounced to him. Free shot, really. If he had a free shot, I think the defender just slightly maybe put him off, but he should have scored there.
Well, Tottenham are just being denied any kind of composure here at all, the way that Spurs, whether Arsenal are closing them down all the time. Injury at the moment to Pavlyuchenko, but the game carries on, and if he's injured, then Spurs now have the opportunity of putting the ball out of play. We'll go to Fulham and Nigel Adderley.
And Fulham still lead Wigan by 2-0 with 16 minutes to play, and as scores stand, Wigan will be down in the bottom 3 tonight. 2 goals from Andy Johnson, and no sign of a response so far. Fulham 2, Wigan 0.
Yeah, and at the moment Tottenham are staying at the bottom. They would have needed to win this game this evening to move off the bottom. They were leading here 1-0 in the first half. They are now 2-1 down. It's Aston Villa 2, Blackburn 1, Fulham 2, Wigan 0, Hull 0, Chelsea 3, Stoke 1, Sunderland 0, Bolton 0, Everton 0, Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0. We're going to have a Tottenham change in a moment, a second change as Hutton goes forward now for them. The ball finds its way to Bentley down the right. Pavlyuchenko's waiting. Bentley against Clichy. And he can't get the cross in here, Bentley. Clichy doing really well. It's an Arsenal throw-in. So Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0, Manchester United 2, West Ham 0, Middlesbrough 1, Manchester City 0, and Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 3.
I've said it before, Mike, and I'll say it again. Clichy, for me, is top draw. Yes, he does make mistakes, but his energy levels going forward and defending, and he kept his eye on the ball there, and Bentley was doing all his tricks, and he just took the ball off him, and it went out for a throw-in for Arsenal. But he is a top-class fullback.
Darren Bent is coming on in a moment for Spurs. Now Arsenal with a little bit of defending to do, and Silvestri just backed off there, and Bentley was allowed to get a strike in at goal. It was well hit as well by Bentley, but Almunia was equal to it.
Good save in the end, because it bounced just before the goalkeeper, and again Bentley get the outside of his foot on the ball, creating a bit of swerve. It skidded off the turf, and he just before that, I was saying how good Clichy was. He just beat Clichy then. Who'd be a commentator?
Lee Dixon with us this evening for Arsenal 2, Spurs 1. Incredible now to think back, and Bentley's great goal for Spurs, giving them lead and giving them so much heart. But then Arsenal with an equaliser from a corner, Silvestri heading in, and then the second goal right at the start of the second half. Another header, this time from a free kick from Van Persie, headed in by Gallas. Now Modric, they need to have a bit more from him, I think, Spurs, if they're to get back into this game. Lennon stretches well down the left. Bentley's gone across. Lennon gets the ball in, but he can't clear the head of Gallas. Genius will try and win it back again against Robin Van Persie. Referee now allows play to continue. Arsenal looking for a free kick. Hutton with a misplaced pass, and Arsenal clear. And this is often where they're at the most dangerous at home, on the counter-attack, but not like that. Danielson's pass to the far side was behind Theo Walcott. So here comes another Spurs change, and here comes another forward player for them, another England player too. I think Fabio Capello will be hoping that perhaps Harry Redknapp over the next few months can get the best out of some of these England players, because there's certainly a big contingent of England options at White Hart Lane. Bent to come on soon. Arsenal now with one of their Frenchmen, Nasri. Nasri to Danielson. Danielson closed down by Hutton. Has to give it back once more to Clichy. Clichy now with his left foot. Lifts it across the defence to Gallas. Sanya's waiting. Sanya receives. Arsenal 2, Spurs 1. Now Van Persie, short of the halfway line, trying to get away from Jermaine Genius. Long ball down the centre. Nasri's going forward. Out comes the goalkeeper. Nasri's lifted it overhead, and eventually maybe Adebayor got the final touch just to make sure. Great counter-attack from Arsenal. A combination of Nasri and Adebayor, and it's Arsenal 3, Spurs 1.
Well, it was a fantastic run through the middle from Nasri. He timed his run to perfection. And I think it was it Van Persie who played the ball? Yeah, he cuts in on his left foot, and what a fantastic ball. Split the full-back and the centre-back. He lifted it over Gomez, and just to make sure, Adebayor followed it in and took the ball and Hutton into the net. But it was a fabulous run, perfectly timed. Goalkeeper, no chance, and it might even be... No, I think Adebayor just got his boot on it. He'll certainly be claiming it. I think possibly Hutton would have cleared it, but Adebayor just come in and poked it in the net, and you have to say it was coming, Mike.
Well, Bent is coming on for Pavlyuchenko, but it may not make that much difference now. There is a 2-goal cushion for Arsenal, and Adebayor's done it again. That's 8 goals he's now scored against Spurs over the last couple of years. He got 3 in the 2 Premier League games last season when Arsenal did the double. Now, here come Arsenal again, looking for a 4th. Danielson, edge of the centre circle. The game has turned around in this second half, but now Modric wins it back for Spurs. Modric goes as speedily as he can into Arsenal territory. Feeds Bentley down the right. Bent has just come on, is trying to time his run to get on the end of this. Modric skims the ball wastefully to the far side of the field. Arsenal have a throw-in, and Tottenham now really need lifting, don't they?
Well, they do. They look dishevelled. They look... well, they haven't got any ideas going forward now. They tried to break there. It was 3v4, and they took too long on the ball. In the end, Modric knocked it out to the invisible man on the left wing, and it's gone out for a throw-in. But they just need to get together. You've seen this before this season when they've gone behind, that they haven't been able to claw themselves back into the game from a team effort. So that's something that Harry's going to have to work on the training pitch with personnel. You need leaders on the pitch, and at times this season well, most of the time this season, Tottenham haven't had it.
Bottom of the table, and on Saturday they're going to be at home to the team at the moment on the top of the table, Liverpool. Modric of Spurs, trailing 3-1. Tries to get it on to Bent. Huddleston with a drive. Almunia's let it go. In goes Bent, and it's 3-2. Suddenly, Almunia failed to hold the strike from Huddleston. Darren Bent was following up, and maybe there's still time here. Arsenal 3, Spurs 2.
Well, what you say about that is, first and foremost, what a great strike. And it was Huddleston just gets the ball, hits it first time. Then you say mistake by the goalkeeper, and then you say mistake by your two centre-backs for not following the ball in. And well played Darren Bent, because he didn't give it up and he put it into the corner of the net. And as I said, the game's over, but it's not quite over yet.
2 minutes after coming on. What a genius Harry Redknapp is with his changes. Darren Bent scores to give Spurs some hope, and we've still got half of this second half ready to go. And we did a sweepstake before the game, and our engineer Adam, I think, went for 4-2, didn't he?
We laughed at him, didn't we? We said, 4-2? And it could well be, or it could well be 3-3 if Tottenham get another strike on goal like that.
Here are the other scores in the Premier League tonight. Aston Villa 2, Blackburn 1, Fulham 2, Wigan 0, Hull 0, Chelsea 3, Stoke 1, Sunderland 0, Bolton 0, Everton 0, Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0 still, Manchester United 2, West Ham 0, Middlesbrough 1, Manchester City 0. It's 3-1 to Celtic in Scotland, and now here comes Adebayor for Arsenal. Adebayor into the area, Van Persie, 4-2! Arsenal get it back almost immediately. It's that free-flowing football, and a terrific finish in the end from Robin Van Persie makes it Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Our sound engineer's headphones have just fell off. He's jumping up and down. I don't know who he supports, but he doesn't care, because he's got 4-2 in the sweep. And it was a fabulous strike in the end, and as Adebayor did really well on the ball on the left-hand side, he's cut inside, and Tottenham caught 3v2 at the back, and when it fell to Van Persie, you expect him to check on his left foot, but he took a swipe at it with his right foot, unfavoured right foot, and what a strike. Gomez got no chance.
Well, it's fantastic entertainment. I'm not sure about some of the defending, but it's...
No, and I tell you, I didn't look at Harry Redknapp's reaction, but he will be going mad. They've just got themselves in the game, and then they go throw caution to the wind and get caught 3v2 at the back, and it's a big mistake, and he won't be happy with that for sure.
Well, Van Persie probably deserved that, having laid on the first two. Adebayor's got one as well. Tottenham go to the other end, and Darren Bent is adjudged to have fouled Clichy, and Spurs have to settle for an Arsenal free kick. Amazing stuff here. Arsenal 4, Spurs 2.
Fabulous game of football, yeah. Not just for the goals. You know, we've got one team going at it like we know they can. They're passing the ball, they're trying to create things. Tottenham doing their best to stay in the game and defending really well at times, and then really poorly. Goalkeepers making mistakes at both ends, mistakes from defenders, and it's end to end. There's no team making it too tight that you can't play. That everybody's trying to pass the ball, and at times Arsenal's passing is absolutely exquisite.
Still a great pace about the game. I'll do my best to remind you of all the goal scorers. If there's a chance in a few moments, as in goes Fabregas, tackling as if his team are 3-0 down over on the far side. It's a throw to Spurs, thrown furiously to Huddleston, headed away by William Gallas. Spurs fans thought they were back in it for a few moments when Darren Bent made it 3-2. And now the Arsenal fans on their feet as Huddleston's got a bang in the face. So here so far, Bentley from almost the halfway line gives Spurs a 1-0 lead. It's 1-1 at half-time. Silvestre heading in Van Persie's corner kick. Then right at the start of the second half, Gallas, the Arsenal captain, heading in a Van Persie free kick. 3-1 to Arsenal then, when Adebayor just finished off an effort which might have been going in from Nasri. Bent made it 3-2, having come on as a substitute, and now Van Persie has made it 4-2. Emmanuel Iboué will come into the game in a moment. Arsenal now across the field find Sagna. I suppose Sagna could be the man coming off, Iboué coming on. We'll have to wait and see. Danielson now threaded back by Van Persie to the halfway line, and now Silvestre for Arsenal. Arsenal keeping the ball and making it very difficult for Tottenham to get it back again. Fabregas once more linking the play. Gallas to Walcott, and back again to Gallas. You're listening to 5 Live Sport. The North London derby, Harry Redknapp's first experience, and it's one he's going to remember. Whatever happens, it's 4-2 to Arsenal. The ball is back again with Silvestre. Gallas for Arsenal. Up to the halfway line under Nielsen. And they're just working it around here, and Tottenham unable to get anywhere near the ball. And Almunia clears. Ibui's waiting patiently to come on. Nasri easily beaten in the air by Woodgate. The ball available inside the centre circle. Modric gets there first. Back to Anfield. Ian Dennis.
Penalty to Liverpool. Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0. It was Bouba Diop who's handled the ball as Hoopier went in with a near post header, and in front of the Kop with 15 minutes remaining, Steven Gerrard has the chance to keep Liverpool at the top of the pile. They've made heavy going of this against Portsmouth. Gerrard with a very short run up now with a penalty. Gerrard beats David James into the bottom left-hand corner. Liverpool 1, Portsmouth 0. Gerrard with the all-important goal. Liverpool should stay top of the Premier League this evening.
Thank you very much, Ian. I think just the one Premier League game then without a goal at Bolton. In comes a free kick for Spurs, and it almost found its way through. Almunia was there to make a save just 2 yards out. Back to Villa Park and Pat Murphy.
Third goal for Aston Villa, typical counter-attack from them. Young from the halfway line fed Agbonlahor. His pace and an excellent finish did the rest. Villa 3, Blackburn 1.
Thank you. By the way, Bowie still hasn't come on for Arsenal. The ball refusing to go out of play. Van Persie showboating a little bit. Spurs clear. And Huddleston's beaten by Danielson in midfield. Lovely one-touch stuff from Arsenal. It's back inside their half and given back once more to Almunia in the goal away to our right. So Aston Villa 3, Blackburn 1, Fulham 2, Wigan 0, Hull 0, Chelsea 3, Stoke 1, Sunderland 0. Those are all 7:45 games, by the way. The 8 o'clock scores in a moment. Nasri now for Arsenal. Jinking run on the edge of the area. Still Nasri. Nasri plays Fabregas into trouble, but he gets out of it very well. Walcott with a snapshot. Gomez makes the save. In the 8 o'clock games, Bolton 0, Everton 0, Liverpool 1, Portsmouth 0, Manchester United 2, West Ham 0, Middlesbrough 1, Manchester City 0. And here, remember, at the Emirates, it's Arsenal 4, Spurs 2 in Scotland, Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 3 in the cup tie. Still Ibui waiting to come on here with 16 minutes to go. The ball played forward to Bentley. Bentley, he's got Lennon available down the left-hand side, eventually finds him. Only Darren Bent in the penalty area. Lennon hasn't got it in yet. Whips the ball into central midfield. Huddleston knocked it forward, and that's gone loose. Arsenal will claim it, and still Ibui waits.
Is that the longest warm-up in the history of warm-ups? The ball's been in play for what? 4, 5, 6 minutes. Normally it goes out of play after a minute or so, a goal kick, a throw-in or something. But he's having to do another full warm-up because he's been standing on the side for so long.
The problem for Ibui is that his teammates keep the ball too well. Now it's Danielson. That's an interesting ball to the far side of the field, but it's headed away by Asuikoto before Walcott can challenge. And the way things are going, Ibui's going to have to put a tracksuit on in a moment. He's going to get frostbite waiting to come on here at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 4, Spurs 2. I think our engineer will be the summariser next game. I mean, the way that he forecast 4-2, just like that, you know. And we all ridiculed him, didn't we? But he's going to get the money.
It's not over yet.
All 3 quid of it. Here comes Fabregas. Fabregas now to Nasri near side the field. Nasri works his way forward. In comes right across the face of the goal here. Robin Van Persie came sliding in, and now Emmanuel Ibui, after his 25-minute warm-up, can come on for Theo Walcott.
Fabulous cross from Nasri from the left-hand side, and Van Persie probably won't get an easier chance all season. It just needed to get anything on that, and it was in the goal because it was a great cross into a dangerous area. And Theo Walcott getting the applause from the Arsenal faithful because he's put a shift in today. Not as exciting and dynamic as he can be, but he's had a couple of good runs towards the end of the first half that just made Tottenham sit back a little bit. And another good game from him. He's learning all the time. He's got to learn how to work his full-back, which he's doing. Getting at the far post when the ball's on the left. All little things that you pick up as you go through your education at Arsenal.
But in the first half in particular, never really allowed Asuikoto to settle down completely. He was always aware of the threat from Walcott, who had a couple of openings, didn't manage to put them away, but he's played his part, and now Modric has the ball for Spurs. Spurs playing from left to right, but giving it away too cheaply. That was a mistake by Lennon. Now Danielson's caught in possession by Ginas. Ginas trying to lead his side back here. We've got just under 15 minutes to go.
That's what they've got to do, Mike. The 4-2 down, they have to press the ball higher up the pitch, take a chance that they're going to win it high up there and attack. If they do lose it, they run the risk of being hit on the break, but 5-2 is no different than 4-2.
Harry Redknapp's former club under Tony Adams, now Portsmouth, have just gone behind to a Gerrard penalty at Liverpool. Liverpool, the leaders, remember. Chelsea leading 3-0 away to Hull City. They scored after only 2.5 minutes in that game through Frank Lampard, so 3-0 to Chelsea. It's 2-0 to Manchester United. Just cut out now by Chorluka. Awkward bouncing ball in the Arsenal half for Clichy. Uses his head well and then knocks it back once more to Almunia in the goal away to our right. Just reminding you that Liverpool began the day 3 points clear of Chelsea and Hull City. Arsenal were in 4th place, 4 points behind Liverpool. Arsenal look as if they're going to go above Hull City. Here comes Ibui now for the first time, but tracking him is Asu Ikoto, who clears, big deep one up to the halfway line. Modric reaches for it, in steps William Gallas. Really good play by the defender, takes the ball away cleanly from Modric, and then Silvestri thought about the back pass, instead gives it back to Gallas, and we're going to get our first full-time report, I think. Hull Chelsea, John Murray.
And it's finished. Hull City 0, Chelsea 3, which represents a very good response from Chelsea to Sunday's defeat. Lampard's very good early goal, and Nelka and Malouda scored in the second half. Hull did pose them problems, but it's 5 away wins out of 5 for Chelsea in the league after their 3-0 win here in Hull tonight.
Thanks, John, but an easy one for Hull to pick up the pieces from at the weekend. I think they're away to Manchester United on Saturday, so Hull 0, Chelsea 3. Great response from Chelsea, having lost to Liverpool, and all the other scores coming your way over the next few minutes on 5 Live Sport. Here, if Spurs could get one more here, they may still feel, with over 10 minutes to go, they've got a chance. Their fans looking a little quiet now in that corner over on the far side to Almunia's right. Throw in to Spurs, Hutton to take it, and Gunter will be the third and final Spurs substitute to come on in a few moments. Just getting some words down there from Clive Allen as Chorluka heads it forward. Oh, Silvestri's header back. Darren Bent, angle is awkward for him in edge of the penalty area. Bent has to bring it towards the touchline to keep possession. Gives it back to Hutton. Hutton floats it in, doesn't find Modric. Silvestri's header away. Arsenal bringing it forward. Van Persie, played it through Huddlestone's legs. Fabregas now, making the run over on the far side is Sagna. Fabregas's ball to Sagna. Only Adebayor in the penalty area. Sagna works it back to Ibui as Gunter, the Welshman, waits to come on for Spurs. Fabregas gets in ahead of Huddlestone. Still says Fabregas, bobbing and weaving on the edge of the area. The ball played, though, behind Nasri, and the fact that Fabregas was too strong for Huddlestone there really tells its story in the second half. Back to Pat Murphy at Villa Park.
Consolation goal for Blackburn. Brett Emerton direct from a free kick. Good effort, curling right foot shot. Shan't really mean much of a difference, I'm sure. Last minute, Villa 3, Blackburn 2.
Thank you very much indeed, Pat. So Alan Hutton comes off and Gunter will come on for Spurs. Chris Gunter. I'm not quite sure how that's going to help Spurs get back into this game. Maybe Hutton's got an injury problem. Gunter's
like
going to play it right back.
It looked like he was limping a little bit when he came off. I think it looks like he's got an ankle knock or something.
And Pat Rice is also, I think, calling Diaby over. Maybe he might be the next Arsenal player to come into this game. We've got 10 minutes to go here. 6 goals we've had, 4-2 to Arsenal. And the man who scored the first one for them, Silvestri, gives a back pass to Almunia. High ball downfield from Almunia. Adebayor allows Gunter to head it back, and out of play. It's a rusty first bit of contact with the ball. Scratches his head, and it's a throw to Arsenal, and Clichy to take it. Now we've got a full time from Stoke, I think, Mike Sewell.
And Stoke heading out to the bottom 3. Ricardo Fuller's header from Rory Delap's long throw midway through the second half has given them a richly deserved victory here at the Britannia Stadium. Stoke 1, Sunderland 0.
Thank you. Full time now, Kilmarnock, Celtic, Brian McLaughlin.
Marnock 1, Celtic 3, McDonald, Nakamura and man of the match Aidan McGeady, the scorers for Celtic. Killy's only response coming through Danny Invincible as Gordon Strachan side though safely through to the semi-finals. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 3.
And Villa have beaten Blackburn by 3-2. More on that in a moment as Fabregas bends the ball in. Adebayor's header doesn't just quite fall for him there. It was a stooping header from Adebayor, and he's headed it in the end well wide. It was a terrific whipped ball in from the right-hand side. Robin Van Persie now, having done his shift, comes off and Arsene Wenger perhaps now trying to close the game out here, brings on Diaby.
And what Arsene Wenger's really good at is things like this. Everyone was calling for Diaby to be in the team after his excellent performance in Europe, but he's been coming back from injury, and he just knows when to play a player and when not to. And as I said, I've said this before, sometimes he used to pull players to one side, me included, and say, "You're looking tired," and you felt actually all right. And what he could see is that in a couple of weeks' time you're going to be tired, so he pulls you out of the fray just before your performances start to drop. And he's an absolute genius at knowing when to pull a player out and when to put one in.
Nigel Adderley now at Fulham. Nigel.
And it's finished Fulham 2, Wigan 0. Fulham's first league win since mid-September. 4 defeats in a row now for Wigan. Andy Johnson with a goal in each half, his first for his new club. Wigan never mustered anything like a response. 2-0 to Fulham.
Back to Manchester United, Conor McNamara.
United 2, West Ham 0, both goals from Ronaldo in the first half. Rooney and Carrick have both been brought on in the second. Rooney looking for his 100th league goal, and he's had 2 good chances, both saved by Robert Green. The first was a lob touched over the crossbar, the second one an absolute blaster that was parried away. Manchester United 2, West Ham 0.
The only one of the 9, I think, without a goal. Bolton, Ian Brown.
Yes, it's still Bolton 0, Everton 0. We're inside the final 10 minutes of this one, but Bolton have certainly improved. They've had the better of the last 20 minutes or so. Almanda has had a shot deflected just off target, and Riga stung the arms and the legs of the goalkeeper, Howard, with a shot from outside of the penalty area. It bubbled away from Howard, but he recovered. It's still Bolton 0, Everton 0.
And next, Peter Slater at Middlesbrough.
Short right, Phillips fires into the side netting. Still 1-0 to Middlesbrough. That penalty from Afonso Alves after Sturridge fouled David Wheater. Turnbull's added to his first half saves with excellent stops from Ireland, and then with his feet from Wright Phillips. But Tunshire always lively for Borough coming forward. Middlesbrough 1, City 0.
Liverpool fans will be aware that Chelsea have had a good win tonight. Back to Liverpool and Ian Dennis.
And Liverpool still leading by a goal to 0. That Gerrard penalty after 75 minutes, but moments ago they had a scare. Belhadj with a cross from the left-hand side. Utaka completely missed the header. What an opportunity that was. Liverpool 1, Portsmouth 0.
It's another one of those nights, though, and I'll get a comment from Lee in a moment. The big 4 pulling away again this evening, and they haven't conceded either. Chelsea 3-0, Liverpool 1-0, Manchester United 2-0. Arsenal here, well, Arsenal conceded obviously 4-2, and what a great week, Lee, it's been for Arsenal. It was 5-2, wasn't it, last week in Europe? Then the big win at West Ham at the weekend, and
well, we said before the game that they were hitting form, and when this team does hit form and their passing and their attacking options are frightening. And as I said to before, defensively they could brush up on a few areas, and it's shown tonight. They give a couple of goals away. Arsene won't be very pleased with that, but I'm sure they'll work on it in training, watch the video and try and improve in that department. But I think this team has got an awful lot to offer, and going back to Harry Redknapp, what does he learn about a defeat? I think you can learn an awful lot about a defeat like this, because he's now looking at the players individually and collectively and saying, where's my weakness? Who are the players who are not quite on it now when things are going poorly? And you can learn from defeats.
And he must have question marks about the goalkeeper, I would imagine, Gomez, would you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think, he's a good shot stopper. We've seen that tonight. He's made a couple of really good saves, but, where it counts, when your defenders want you to come and collect a ball, to take the pressure off you want him to come high and collect or punch. He's done neither tonight. He's flapped at a few, and when he has chosen to punch, he's punched poorly, and he's been out of position a couple of times on crosses, which has cost them, cost them goals.
A 4th Tottenham booking. Now, that must have been presumably Gina's saying something, because he's just got a yellow card. Referee Martin Atkinson's given it to him, so Asu, Koto, Huddleston, Bentley and Genus yellow cards this evening. It's 4-2 to Arsenal. 1-0 Liverpool lead against Portsmouth. Manchester United 2-0 up against West Ham. Chelsea have won 3-0 tonight at Hull. And the only game in the Premier League without a goal, Bolton, Everton. It's Middlesbrough 1, Manchester City 0. And the results are like this: Villa 3, Blackburn 2, Fulham 2, Wigan 0, and Stoke 1, Sunderland 0. Spurs are going to be rooted to the bottom here. Now Genus has got an injury to go along with that yellow card. He's not moving inside that centre circle as the ball is with Lennon down the left. High ball into the area. Bent was climbing above Gael Clichy, but couldn't target the header at all towards Almunia. And Almunia throws the ball out, and Sanya's on it already over on the far side. We have 5 minutes to go. 60,043 here for the North London derby. A very anxious one for home fans when David Bentley gave Spurs the lead. Silvestri made it 1-1 by half-time. in the second half, Gallas and then Adebayor for 3-1. 3-2 when Bent pulled one back for Spurs. Almost immediately, Van Persie 4-2 to Arsenal. Arsenal, just for once, give the ball away. Huddleston, who's had a real chasing from Fabregas in that central midfield. Another misplaced pass from Spurs. Not a lot of sign here that there's going to be any kind of sting in the tail from them.
Well, you look at them, both midfields. One of them sprightly because they've got the ball most of the time. Fabregas is weaving his magic, and you look at Huddleston now, who looks a really tired man. He's done an awful lot of work and he's getting caught out of position, and Fabregas is having a field day. He's played really well today.
Harry Redknapp looking a little rueful as Adebayor, and philosophical almost. Adebayor's caught offside. Here comes another Arsene Wenger change in the moment as Jermaine Genius, who shrugged off that injury, finds Bentley. Bentley whips one in from 30 yards. This time he doesn't get any kind of clean contact, and that is out of play. That is going to be a goal kick to Arsenal, and Song is the man coming on, I think, finally here for Arsenal. Played in midfield while Danielson had a problem, also played in central defence as well in recent weeks. So Wenger's change brings on Alex Song for Sami Nasri, and another bit of a readjustment here. But we've only got about 2.5 minutes to go, and Arsenal are going to win this game now very well with this 2-goal margin.
Nasri's had a good game as well. He's all a big part of that passing game that Arsenal play, and when he's on his game, and he's still a young boy learning his trade. He's quick feet, and he's got 2 good feet actually. I was surprised I've seen him use both of them tonight, and I think he's played really well.
Now what's happened here is that Diaby's come across to the left-hand side as Tottenham lumped the ball forward towards Bentley. Clichy's going to have to play this, and really did well. He played it off Bentley, and that's going to be an Arsenal goal kick. Ibui has pushed forward to join Adebayor, but they've got this solid midfield now with Song and Danielson in front of the back four. Fabregas in the diamond as well. Ibui playing down the right, trying to link up with Emmanuel Adebayor. Fabio Capello we see now for the first time, a television picture of him, who'd have been looking particularly at a lot of the English players playing for Spurs here tonight. Jonathan Woodgate, I think, had a very good first half, so might have done himself a few favours, but
I thought he played really well first half. He marshalled the back line, but the second half they've just been overrun. Arsenal's midfield have taken control, and when the midfield breaks, you're through your midfield and you're straight at your back four, it's very difficult for a centre half.
A slip from Clichy allows Genius to go forward. Genius now looking for Darren Bent. Genius with a left footer, and what a left footer as well. Gives Spurs, with 1.25 minutes to go, unbelievable hope. We've written them off so many times tonight, but now it's Arsenal 4, Spurs 3. One of the players Fabio Capello's watching, Jermaine Genius, has scored.
Just say it's a good job we haven't got a microphone on our sound man, because he's just lost the sweep. It's 4-3. What a strike.
I think we can still give it to him, don't you?
Yeah, I was only joking. Look at him. Nearest one wins.
Yeah.
What a fantastic strike. And you know, for all Arsenal's play and pressure and possession and skill, you know, there's still only 1 goal ahead, and you have to give Tottenham credit for that. Fantastic strike from Genius left foot.
There are 40 seconds to go, but we may get 3 minutes of added time. We've had lots of substitutions. It's now 4-3, and Ibui finds Fabregas on the edge of the penalty area. Will Arsenal reply straight away? Fabregas has won a corner for Arsenal over on the far side. Arsene Wenger's shaking his head. I mean, you know, he doesn't see his team concede 3 at home many times, but from his point of view, at least they've got 1 in front.
Yeah, that's true, and we said before the game about a few defensive frailties, and they've come to the fore again towards the end of this game, and he was allowed to run too far, Gene, as simple as that. They backed off, and if you allow a player of his ability, it's 4 minutes of extra time.
4 minutes of added time. So to Arsenal, headed away by Huddleston, and Spurs, you know, they'll be revived by that if they can just get some energy going once more. Modric finding Gunter, and back again to Modric, and now Modric is suddenly flying forward. Modric slides the ball beautifully into Bentley. Bentley back again to Modric. Bent and Genius in the area. In comes the cross, and Almunia saves underneath his crossbar. Back to Bolton, and we've had a goal there now. Ian Brown.
Yes, Everton have stolen it in the last minute. Bolton 0, Everton 1. Pienaar's cross, and there was Fellaini, the man of the moment for Everton, completely unmarked to head the ball in off the base of the post. We're into stoppage time. It's Bolton 0, Everton 1.
Oh, what a night. We should have more of these in the Premier League. It's full time at Liverpool. Ian Dennis.
Liverpool 1, Portsmouth 0, a hard-fought victory where the league leaders stuck it in the spotlight at the top. Edgy at the end. Gerrard's 75th minute penalty won it 1-0.
Thank you, Ian. Oh, a yellow card now to Diaby. Arsenal's first yellow card of the evening, but maybe even more important here, Lee, this is a dangerous free kick for Spurs.
Very dangerous from that man Bentley on the ball. We got great quality. They had 12 men on the pitch just then because Harry Redknapp was actually on the pitch trying to get his team to go forward.
Now then, Bentley will try and use all of his ability here with a free kick wide on the near side. We're a minute and a half into added time. We're playing 4 minutes of added time at the Emirates. It's 4-3 to Arsenal. Harry Redknapp looking for something special here. Bentley's going to try and measure this kick. And it goes, and it's been headed behind by one of the Arsenal defenders. I think it was William Gallas. And it's a corner kick to Spurs near side.
I think it was Diaby in the end who headed it away, but what a fantastic ball in from Bentley. As a manager, last minute, you want your quality player to put it in the danger area, and he did that. Great header away, corner.
Big white charge here from Spurs. The big players from the back have gone forward. In goes a corner kick, well defended by Arsenal, and thumped downfield by Ibui. Nobody there from Arsenal. There's only Gomez, who's only 10 yards or so from the halfway line. We played nearly 2.5 minutes of added time, and a mistake here as Spurs give it back almost to Arsenal, but Gomez is still out of his penalty area to take possession. Gunter almost slips, finds Bentley. There's still time here, unbelievably, for Spurs. Arsenal just need to keep the possession. Song in danger of overrunning it. Huddleston going in against Fabregas, but Fabregas finds Ibui. Ibui into Adebayor's offside. Out comes Gomez. He wouldn't have counted anyway. Gomez throws quickly downfield to Modric. Modric can't hold on to it, and Gunter volleys the ball downfield. Tottenham need to keep it as we move towards the last minute of added time. Arsenal 4, Spurs 3. Fabregas this time doesn't wait the pass right to Adebayor, and it's given the possession back to Spurs. One more thump downfield.
It's okay, Arsenal have got 12 on the pitch now. Arsene Wenger's popped up on the sidelines.
Huddleston for Spurs. Little dink ball forward to Modric. Modric with a shot. It's the post. And Lennon's there. Aaron Lennon's there to score and make it 4-4 with 40 seconds to go. It was a wonderful effort from Modric. Almunia was beaten. The ball hit the post. Lennon was waiting to pounce, and Harry Redknapp escapes in the most dramatic of London derbies here. It's now Arsenal 4, Spurs 4.
Well, do you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I cannot believe that that's happened. From a football point of view, not from the Arsenal-Tottenham point of view. Tottenham were absolutely dead and buried at 4-2. Their heads were down. They didn't react to anything. Arsenal were playing a practice match. And all of a sudden they get back in the game from Genius, and then they go and get a result. And you have to say, fair play to them, they didn't give up towards the end of the game. Harry Redknapp's just been on the side, cajoling his team because he felt as if they could get back in the game. And can you believe it? It's 4-all. Unbelievable. I've never seen a game like this.
And it's Harry Houdini. That's your headline for tomorrow. Unbelievable escape from Spurs here. 4-4. And Lennon, one of Harry Redknapp's substitutes, has probably saved the game here for Tottenham. They're still on the bottom, but they're going to get a remarkable draw here. Martin Atkinson's still playing on the referee. And Middlesbrough now lead Manchester City 2-0 through Gary O'Neill. Deep into added time at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal, who were leading 4-2, are now drawing 4-4. And as I went for the draw, I think I've won the sweepstake.
That's it, it's over. Well, what an absolutely unbelievable game we've had at the Emirates tonight. We've had Tottenham ahead in the game with an absolutely world-class goal from David Bentley, and probably candidate for goal of the season. And then Arsenal get back into the game and then completely take control of the game. They've passed the ball around. They've scored some great goals. And Tottenham were dead and buried, absolutely dead and buried. But he's worked his magic. Harry Redknapp has somehow managed to get a point out of this game, and the Tottenham players are going over to their fans, and their fans are absolutely jumping around in the stadium like you can imagine. An unbelievable game.
Well, just finally, Lee, you did say, and particularly when it went to 4-2, that Harry Redknapp was going to find out an awful lot about his players out there, the character, and in the end they responded for him.
Absolutely right, and you can see Bentley was running right to the end, and in the end they saw a bit of belief, and they thought they could get something out of the game, and that comes from the manager as well. He's instilled belief in them, and having said that, when it was 4-2, Mike, you couldn't see it happening, but that's football. I think Arsene Wenger's the one who's going to be saying a few words in the dressing room against his team, conceding 4 goals at home.
Fantastic, thank you, Lee. Well, one of the games of the season without question. The final score here, Arsenal 4, Tottenham 4.